Alright guys, so welcome to the NASCAR's weekly race report for July 31st, 2019. I've been wanting to do kind of like this. I'm just trying to figure out some ideas, and I've come up with that name, NASCAR weekly race report. Because some weeks we'll have a lot of news, some weeks we won't have a lot of news. And, NASCAR has always got something going on. And coming up here, so with this week, let's go to the penalty report after Pocono. Okay, the Cup Series. Chris Grabart, the crew chief on the #1 winning car this week, Joe Gibbs Racing, was fined $10,000 for a lug nut violation. Now, I've said this and preached this all year. I do not think somebody should be penalized $10,000 for a lug nut. And if you play close attention, who are the guys getting the penalties? The teams with the money. You ain't gonna see like a 52 team or a some other, just low budget team. You ain't gonna see them get these penalties because they ain't got the money to pay. So yeah, $10,000 for that. Also penalized $10,000 for the lug nut violation was Chad Johnston. Called it again. Chad, if there's drama, trouble, Chad Johnston's in there. For the crew chief, Chip Ganassi Racing, Kyle Larson. Silly season's going to be crazy this year. I'm waiting to see what's going to happen. And I'm going to talk about that too. In addition, NASCAR announced 2 crew members have received suspensions for violating the body substance abuse policy. Brendan J. Lee and Jaguar Yaguar, whatever, that's a crazy name, but anyway, they've been suspended. Don't say what team they're on. So that's a good, who knows about that. Now, Tony Stewart, back in the news, even though he don't drive no more. Tony's anger management Stewart is back in action. As he punched somebody in the face. You can look it up on YouTube. Just put down Tony Stewart punches a guy in the face or whatever, and he'll pop right up. But Tony Stewart is a former 3-time champion, and he punched. I watched the video, and he walks over and just punches him. I mean, just nails him in Jackson, Mississippi, and that was just crazy. I guess the guy was talking to Tony or something, saying some stuff about him or whatever. And Tony's just walked around the corner of the car, just knocked the hell out of him. So, this is Tony's Tony. He's still got that fire in his eyes. Let's see what else we can find here in this news. Bubba Wallace and Daniel Suarez are in a battle. Not only on Twitter, but after the race Sunday, they got in each other's face and pretty much, talked it out, but there was a serious talk. It wasn't like they was saying, oh, yeah, I'm sorry about this. It was a pretty nasty talk there, and I hate to say this, but Daniel Suarez, stalwart boy, he don't take no crap. He comes right back at him, and Daniel's tough. I mean, he would have been a good battle. I'd like to seen it on pit road, see what would have happened. But them two got into it. Pocono brought a lot of action there, and with that situation. So, but Pocono, like I said, was a good race, and in it, even though the tire fall off wasn't there. But going back to Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace did give Suarez a middle finger, and with all that going on, and but at least we had a good race. At least we had something to talk about. The strategies. It kind of reminded me of a '90s race where strategies was there, and this and that, and just different stuff. But some news going on this week, and I want to get into the number 20 car, Erik Jones. Now, after the race, in the pre-race. I was talking to Joe Gibbs. Joe Gibbs. Some of you guys may not have heard this, but in the not pre-race, post-race, he was talking about Erik Jones, about the future, and he said, sponsors. Right now, Erik Jones does not have a sponsor for next year. And plus, Joe Gibbs has got to look for the future. Erik Jones has got the talent to win races. He's been finishing top 5 and all that. But if Joe Gibbs don't have the sponsors to put on his car, how can he race him? Matt Dedibato has already said, he's been running pretty good, finishing good for top 5, whatever. He believes his team will keep him next year. And that could be huge because that's Christopher Bell wants to be in the Cup Series. He's a little bit older than some of these other younger guys. He's ready to go. I mean, if the guy would have had the better tires, he would have won his six Xfinity race this year. I mean, he's just talented. And these sponsors are looking at that, and they're saying, man, this Christopher Bell kid's for real. He's winning races. He's putting his sponsors up. I don't think it's looking good for Erik Jones. That's just my opinion on it. I could be wrong. If Erik Jones is going to prove something, he's got to prove it now. He's got to come out over the next week, get a win before the playoffs. Even in the playoffs, try to win them 1 or 2 races. That's the only way he's going to save it, because you got Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., 4 wins apiece. Denny Hamlin, 3 wins. Actually, they could have had more. All 3 of them drivers could have had a few more. And Erik has 0. And Stanley Tools is leaving the team. Craftsman, which are all together. So his major sponsorships are leaving. And Christopher Bell is going to bring in sponsorships. And so I'm predicting, I could be wrong, and I hope I am, because I like Erik Jones, but I also like Christopher Bell. I just think Christopher Bell will be in the 20 Cup car next year. Which, don't count out Erik Jones. He will be in a Cup ride next year if he does get dropped out of the 20 car. And that's going to have some people worried. If Erik Jones becomes a free agent, Stewart-Haas Racing will be all over him. And a lot of other major teams will be over him too. So you could see a couple drivers lose some big rides this coming up. Clint Boyer, for instance. He's trying to rebound, but it's just something every week. Is it possible Erik Jones could end up in the 14 next year? It is possible. So, it's going to be tough. But the Iowa racing this weekend was great in the Xfinity. I just love that track at Iowa. And what I want to do is take a look at silly season. Coming up here, Richard Childress wants Tyler Reddick in a Cup car next season. How's that going to work out? Tyler Reddick. We got Daniel Hemrick in there. Daniel ain't going nowhere because he's running good. The 3 car, not so hot. I just don't see Richard kicking out the 3 car unless sponsorship or something comes into play with that team. They got the 3, the 8. Ty Dillon's running 13 cars. Is it possible that Tyler Reddick could step in that? A lot of things to be answered here in the Richard Childress organization, as everybody's starting to look forward to it now. You got to go early. You can't wait the last second here for that. So, Pocono TV ratings for this past week was down from 2018. It earned a 1.6 overnight rating. So, but it says it was down from last season, and we'll see. I'm just curious. Like I said, my main concern is Erik Jones. Now, Kyle Larson has run good. He ran good this week. but it's a flat track. Kyle Larson's good in these flat tracks. I just think Kyle Larson would fit better with another team. The problem is more, you got to have the right pieces, right places. Like Martin Truex, he already knew he was going 19 before the 2018 season started. A lot of these guys know that. And some of these guys may know where they're going next year. I don't know. But my opinion is that 17 ride, Jack Rouse will become open. Jack Rouse has had Ricky Stenhouse in there for a while. Ricky struggled. Is it time for Jack Rouse to make a change? He made a change with the 6 car, and Ryan Newman's actually run pretty good. So, if they open the 17 ride up, could that be where Erik Jones goes? So many different options to be played out here. Kroger is expected to return to the Daughtry Racing, and that's good for them for sponsorship. And the 37, Chris Bushler and Ryan Priest, so that's good for them. My concern is, will there be enough sponsors for enough teams? Can they, add a team or whatever? Now let's get to my last little thing here before I end this week's discussion. I know it's a long video. If you guys don't want, you don't have to, but I just like to talk about racing, and I know a lot of you guys like to talk about it too. Jimmie Johnson, I'm saving this for last, has a new crew chief. Now, my thoughts on this is, I have seen this in the past. A few of my buddies has too. Righteous Redneck, Shiny Knife. A lot of you guys that's been around, watched the 90s and early 2000s and so on. You know when a driver starts struggling and they start suddenly bringing in this crew chief. They're changing this crew chief, but the driver keeps struggling. We've seen it with Tony Stewart. We've seen it with Darrell Walter. We've seen it with so many greats out there. Bill Elliott. A lot of people out there that struggle later on in their career. I don't see Jimmie Johnson making the playoffs this year, guys. I hate to say it. Jimmie's a great talent. Sometimes that talent runs out. It's like Michael Jordan when he went and played for the Washington Wizards. Hey, he done good, done decent, but he couldn't be that superstar he was before. So I'm looking for Jimmie Johnson to announce his retirement after next year. That's what I'm looking for. I think they'll test out this crew chief, see how it goes. We've only got 4 or 5 races to the chase, so he has to be consistent. If he's going to get in this chase, he's got to be top 10 every week and try to sneak in and win. So that's my take on that. And yeah, I hate it for the guy because he's got talent. It's but Jeff Gordon was starting to falter. He did win a race in his last year, but run decent. But he knowed he was falling, and Jimmie does too. We all see it, and it's gonna happen to other drivers too. Won't be long. You'll see Harvick, Truex, some Bowyer's already doing it. You're gonna see other drivers start to slowly falter back because age catches up with you, just like anything. And these cars nowadays and drivers and stuff, it ain't like it used to be. Harry Gant was 50-year-old and he won 4 races in a row. Richard Petty raced the 50s. A lot of these drivers back in, but the average age for a person in NASCAR was like 33, 34-year-old. Now it's like 23. Things have changed. So, but yeah, I'll have the Pick 5 video contest out later this week, guys, and hopefully we can get a little more few picks. I think I had right at 20 this week or something like that, close to it. So, hope we can get some more people in there. This time of the year, it's kind of rough because it's in the summertime. Everybody's doing stuff. But the playoffs are going to wrap up soon, and it's going to get crazy. But tell me what you guys think of Erik Jones and some of these other drivers that's going to be free agents next year. Tell me what you think's going to happen. You heard it from me first. I'm saying Eric's out of 20. Christopher Bell's in 20. Cole Custer could be a 14 replacement. I can see that happening because of Boyer's got it. If he don't get that bad luck, I mean, he had a decent run, but it's just the bad luck just it ain't there. So tell me what you guys think, and we'll see you guys later next week for the NASCAR weekly race talk show here. So not a talk show, which I want a talk show in the future when I can live stream. I'd like to get Rochester Redneck, Shiny Enough, Thor Self, get all my buddies on here and do like a podcast or something. You know, a lot of stuff I want to do with my channel right now. Work's busy, life's busy, everybody else is busy. It's hard to accomplish that. So, and we're all still trying to learn this channel and our YouTube in general. You know, some of us don't know the tricks of the trade and the, you know, a lot of simple stuff. So it's hard to figure out. But subscribe to the channel, guys. I want to hit 1,000 so I can live stream. And I'm sure everybody else does too, but it's hard, it's challenging. But we stick together as a community. You know, I'm not shooting for 20,000 people or anything like that. I just want 1,000 live stream, and I'll be happy with that. But, yeah. That's my take on it this week. Tell me what you guys think, and have a good one.